As a teacher, my main goal is to get my students interested in reading things like this, and listening to things like this.
Welcome to the latest global news recorded at 15 hours GMT on Thursday.
My basic interest in the Oakland University, New Zealand, Australia, Fulbright-Hays Group Travel Abroad is this, so that I can better educate myself about the world and then pass this knowledge on to my students. My previous travels have been great assets to me as an educator. After my sophomore year of college, I traveled to South Africa on a study abroad trip with Michigan State University. My trip can be summed up in one short realization. Michigan State helped run an after-school center in the township of Zwankieziezwe outside of Johannesburg. Each member of our trip had a pen pal, who we kept in special contact with when we were there, and then wrote letters to afterwards. In the final week of our trip, we visited each of our pen pals at home. In the dark tin, corrugated shack where my pen pal lived with his grandmother, I had this realization that she could be my grandmother. My growing awareness of the world around me, which had been developing since I was an elementary school kid, through school, reading newspapers, books, and going to museums, came to a head in this moment. We're called to help others, I realized, because they could be us, and we could be them. Giving a critical, empowering, and globally aware education was one way that I could enact this in my life. Since then, I've developed not only my skills as an educator, but also my ability to relate the importance of my international experiences to my students. Pictures and anecdotes from South Africa, as well as a high school Spanish club trip to Spain and Morocco, have helped form a backdrop to my teaching that shows my students that not only is international travel within their reach, but that global understanding is an imperative in today's world. Simply put, I want to travel to New Zealand and Australia so that I can experience more of the world and pass this information on to my students. While in South Africa, I toured a number of schools with diverse missions, as well as spent time with our kids in Zwankieziezwe, but the tours always left me hungry for more information about international education systems. Similarly, after my trips abroad, I've just been hungry for more international travel. This travel abroad would be a great asset to me and my understanding of the world and the ways that education happens elsewhere, and I will pass this information on to my students for years to come.